Why can't we just...
No. All right. Here we go. Okay, guys, I'm trying to teach now, okay? So, here we go. Well, this is lesson, what are we on? 3.5? So, go ahead and write down this slide here. If Hannah's not going to go, you might. So, talking about quadratics here. This is what we have been dealing with so far in this whole chapter. By the way, this is our last lesson for chapter 3. This chapter was all about dealing with quadratics when they're in vertex form. Next chapter, we're going to be talking about this. Now, before we end chapter 3, what chapter 4? What I want to do is I want to kind of do a nice little segue into chapter 4, and that's going to be changing this into this. That's our goal today. We want to learn how we can change it from standard form into vertex form. That's our goal for today. I wonder if I wrote that on another slide or not. I'm not sure. There we go. So go ahead and write down today's objective there. Today's objective is to change it from standard. You don't need to rewrite this whole slide. I would just add that sentence in the arrow and you're good to go. You went with us, but try to keep up with us on the next slide. Okay, here we go. So that's our objective for the day. So go ahead and copy down this slide, please. Okay, guys, so we talked about this already. A perfect square trinomial is one that factors into two identical binomial factors. Okay? Copy down this slide, please. We'll talk about this slide in a minute. I'm going to come back to that. What I want to do is I want to show you guys a cool little trick about these perfect square trinomials. Okay? If something's a perfect square trinomial, there is a really cool shortcut you can use to factor it. Okay? And you're going to want to know what that shortcut is for today's lesson because some of the problems we're doing today are pretty long. And if we have a shortcut, that'll make life a lot nicer. So let's go back to the warm-up problem real quick. Just watch. You don't need to write this down right now. Just watch. You guys remember what that factored into? It was x minus 5 squared, right? Here's the cool thing about perfect square trinomials. It will always be x, and then a number here, and then squared. The only thing that's going to change is this number right here, depending on the problem. And there's a really fast way to get that number without having to do the work. I'll be right with you, Nathaniel. Oh, this was supposed to be minus. There we go. There it is. You just divide that number by 2. So negative 10 divided by 2 is negative 5. So you could say, but that only works for perfect square trinomials. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys another perfect square trinomial really quick. Is that what you were going to tell me how to do it? Yeah. Okay. The negative. Oh, about the negative. Gotcha. All right. Let me get you guys another perfect square trinomial. Now you don't know why this is a perfect square yet. There's a way you can tell, and I'll tell that to you later. But for now, just take my word for it. It's a perfect square trinomial. So, ready? It always looks like this every time. The only thing that changes is the number that goes right here. And where's that come from? Just divide that by 2. What do you get? There it is.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I think I know how you can tell, but it might be wrong.
Go ahead.
Can you tell if the first number is a negative and the second number is positive?
No. I'll show you an example of one. But I like you looking for patterns. That's good. Let me show you one that doesn't do that, though. Here's one. They're both positive, so that don't work. All right, so I want you guys to try to factor this one. See what you get. I'll give you like, 20 seconds. Check and answer with the name if you need to, and I'll call on you to share it out in a minute. This is just a student practice. Give it a try. If you don't need to write it down, you don't have to. You have it?
No.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell if it's like perfect square trinomial by like the factors? So
Yes. Now that's the long way to know, but there's a faster way to know, and I'll show you that too. But yes, that's actually what it is. That's true. All right. So Micah, what'd you get? Cool, man. Nice. There you go. That's it. You guys good? That's a shortcut for factoring. Yeah, that's a shortcut for factoring perfect square trinomials. But now you got to ask yourself, but how do I know when it is one? Well, the good news is that today we're going to make everything be a perfect square trinomial. There's a way to force it to happen. But let me go ahead and show you guys back to our warm-up here again. I think it was minus 10x plus 25, right? Okay, so as we already talked about, we already know where this number comes from, right? Where does this number come from? It's half of the middle number, right? But take a look at this number. Where does that number come from? Not dividing by 5. Multiplying. Doesn't that come from the 5 times the 5? Right? So these numbers here are half of the middle number. But if you multiply them, you get 25, right?
So would you find out if you divided the middle number and then multiplied them after there?
That's perfect. Now you got it. So if you take the middle number, like let's do this one again, right? What's half of the middle number?
3.
What do you get if you do 3 times 3? That would be a perfect square trinomial. Okay? So we're going to do one like that. Let me pause. I'll get it. What I just showed you guys was called completing the square. It's where you take a trinomial and you force it to become a perfect square. And I'll tell you why we're doing that later, but for now, we just want to make sure you know how to do it. So completing the square is the process you go through to change a trinomial into a perfect square trinomial. So let's do this one. So this is an example. Go ahead and write it down real quick. Yeah, some of you guys already got it. That's cool. But you might want to write it down just in case so that you have something for your notes later. Okay, so we need to find this number right here, right? And some of you guys already know what it is. So here's what I want you guys to write on your notes, because if you just have this problem with the answer on your paper, you're not going to know where it came from later. So we want to do some notes so that you'll have something to look at later. So here's what I want you guys to write. I want you to draw an arrow down, and we're going to put the word half there to indicate we're going to take half of 8. What's that? 4. And then we're going to say, then we're going to write the word square because we want to square it. That means multiply it by itself. So what is 4 to the second power? 4 squared. 16. And then we're going to draw an arrow there to indicate that's where we put it. And I like to draw it as a square because it looks like you're completing the square. Although my square got a little crooked on the side there. That it had. Yeah. All right. So I just want to make sure that we're all good. So I want to give you guys one more practice before we move on. Ready?
No. That's literally all you do?
For now.
Oh, dang it.
For
I think
now.
it's harder.
It does.
You know what?
It does. We're taking baby steps here. That's the first step. Take half of it, right? Which is
I didn't
divided
think
by
about
2. Okay, when David gets back, you're welcome. All right. Kenneth, did you get the number yet? No? You can hear me with both headphones in? I mean, I don't mind if you can hear. Can you hear me with both headphones in? You should probably have one ear open, don't you think? I mean, I'm not gonna nag at you, but did you have your hand up? Yeah. No. Okay. Let's do. Let me come to Joanne. Joanne, what goes in the blank? How much? Right. Half of 12 is 6. Square that. You get 36 and put it there. Now, let's go an extra step. Let's go an extra step. Let's factor it. What goes here?
Just do the practice one.
Right? Remember that? So we're putting together these two little shortcuts now.
Okay.
Yeah, two shortcuts.
So shortcut square.
Are we good? Let's move on.
No, wait.
Okay. Go ahead and write down this slide, please. This is why we came to class today. This is our objective for the day, is this problem. Everything we've been doing up till now has been laying a foundation for some basic skills that I want to make sure are in place to do this problem. Because I shared with you guys our objective earlier today. I'll back up for you here. But it was, our objective today is to take a quadratic equation that's in standard form. Do you have both ears plugged during a lesson? Do you really learn that way? Really? You kids are weird. Do you guys actually think you learn when you plug both of your ears with music? Does that actually work? Or let me ask you. I want an honest answer. When you guys sit here with both of your ears plugged with headphones, does it cross your mind? I just want to know. Does it cross your mind that I'm actually not learning right now, or do you guys actually just forget, like I'm in class? Honestly, because I really don't. Is it that?
Yeah.
Okay, that means you just don't care.
Well, that's for me.
Okay.
Can I tell you something?
Does anybody actually just like put their headphones in and forget they're in class and just watch TV and realize, oh, I'm in class? Does anybody actually do that?
No.
So you guys just don't care, because that's what I thought it was. But I just want to make sure. Okay.
I passed geometry through sleeping.
I just don't, because what you kids do actually confuses me. Like, I would have never sat through a class with two headphones in my ears. This is good. The world needs to hear this too. This is what your tax dollars go to, people. Okay. So I would have never sat in a class with both of my ears plugged during a teacher's lesson.
Yeah, you didn't have to.
You don't think serious?
Mr. Bailey, let's be honest with ourselves.
What is the point of coming to class and putting headphones in your ear?
Okay, but that's not me. I'm not being.
You just told me you do it and don't care.
Well, that's on some occasions.
Oh, okay.
So what's the
Okay, I just want to make sure you guys didn't care, because that's what I thought it was. But I just want to make sure people aren't actually like thinking I can learn this way. Because if you actually think that, then we need to have a conversation about
Why
common
can't
sense.
people learn like that?
keep it,
What if that's like somebody like how there's a bunch of
I
different.
think you need to stop talking.
I think
You're
I
just
should keep going
contradicting
because-
yourself.
if you keep it
How
at a
am I
lower,
contradicting myself?
if you keep it at a lower level, then maybe it'll help you focus. Because you have to like
Some people are auditorial.
Right.
I will tell you that both people I've talked to today with their headphones in have a hard time in here sometimes. So I think maybe they should keep those ears unplugged. But anyway, we'll leave it at that. So I'm going to stop because we have a very long lesson. So that's enough, John. But anyway, I was curious, but you guys answered me, so I thank you. So we're going to talk about changing it from standard form into vertex form. Now, why did we do all that work that we just did? Take a look right here. Do you guys see this little guy? Doesn't that look a little bit like what we've been doing today?
Yes.
So that stuff that we've been doing today is so we can get that. Okay? So you'll see it come out of the woodwork. So like I said, bad news, these problems take a long time. The good news is each step is actually very simple. If you're okay with adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. Okay?
Catch.
So
Read the fine print.
here we go. So we got this written down, and I'm going to write down words as I go, and I would encourage you guys to write down the words with me, because there's so many steps that if you guys don't put the words next to it, you're going to probably forget, oh, what do we do to get the words? So if you have the words, it will help you remember, oh, that's what we're supposed to do. Okay, so here we go. Step one, ready? Step one. We're going to move this number out of the way. Okay? So move the 9 to the other side. How would I move the 9 to the other side? we would subtract it, right? Minus 9, minus 9. Okay, so we have 2x squared minus 16x equals y minus 9. That's the first step. Is that hard? That's not hard, but that's one of 6 steps. So, yeah. I can. There you go. All right. Now, here's the next step. Now, this next step, I would say this one might be probably the hardest step. Okay? But the good news is we've reviewed how to do this already. So, hopefully, it won't be too hard for you guys. Here we go. The next step is, you guys see this number here in front of the x squared? I want to factor it out. Kind of like when we did the GCF a while ago. So, factor out the 2. So check this out. Ready? I want to take that 2 out. That means we're dividing it out. So if you were to divide that 2 out of both of these numbers here, what would be left? X squared and? What if you divided that one by 2? 8, right? Now notice I'm not taking the x out, right? Just the 2. Okay? So step 1, move this 9 to the other side. Step 2, factor out the 2. Now this next step, if you don't take good notes, will seem like some sort of witchcraft occurred. Like in about a week or so, you'll be like, where did that number come from? It's going to seem like it came out of nowhere. But if you take good notes, you'll have a good answer to it. The next step is we're going to complete the square. You know how when you complete the square, you create that new number? But if you don't take good notes, you're going to be, oh, wait, where'd that come from? So make sure you take good notes here. But step 2 is we want to, or step 3, complete the square. So check this out. Ready? Notice I left a blank here, right? Because we're going to put a number there. What? Who knows what number goes there? 16 is right. Now, but so you're still, you see witchcraft. Okay. So I'm gonna show you it's not witchcraft, it's science. Ready? We're gonna take half of 8, which is what? 4. And then we're going to what it? We're gonna square it, take good notes, right? Because if you don't have this on your paper, a week from now, you're going to be like, where'd that 16 come from? So it is -4. You're right, John. And if I square it, what do I get? 16. And that's what we put right there. Okay, that's step 3. Now, as promised, we're just adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. But you have to know when and where and what we're doing that with, right? So there's step 1. Move the 9 to the other side. Step 2, factor out the 2. Step 3, complete the square. Good? Can I switch slides? No? Coffee break. Always.
Do you use creamer?
No. It's too expensive. Guess I'm just man enough. Can I go now?
No.
What the crap? How about now? Mr. Bailey's a little on edge today, in case you can't tell. Okay, here we go. Let's continue. Now, we just did a mathematical no-no. You don't need to, well, yeah, go ahead and write this with me. We have this now, right? Rewrite it, though, because we're going to do something in a second. What was over here, +9 or -9? We just did a mathematical no-no. My mathematical no-no is this. An equation is like a balance scale, right? Both sides are equal, it's balanced. If you add something to one side but not the other, what'd you do to your equation? You just made it unbalanced. We need to, step 4. In step 4, what we're going to do is we're going to fix the balance. We're going to fix the balance. What did I add to this side on the left? You would think so.
Add 9.
Try again.
4.
32.
What?
What the heck's he talking about? Check it out.
Oh, because 2.
I put that number there, and everything in here is being
Oh.
multiplied by 2. So here's the notes I want you guys to write on your paper so you don't forget that, because that's hard. We're going to draw an arrow from here to here, and we're going to say multiply. That's 32, right? And whatever you get, that's what you're going to add over here so that you can, what? Fix your balance, right? So multiply, and then whatever you get there, add it to the other side. That keeps it balanced. Okay? We're on step 4. How many steps did I say there were going to be? 6. So we're getting there. We're getting there. Hold, don't give up yet. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Heaven. Heaven. If you see a red light flickering, run. If you see a bright white light, go.
What if I want to stay alive?
Are you telling us to die? What if it's just a flash?
Here you go.
Yeah, what if it's just
Mr. Bailey.
This is why you're gonna suicide.
Okay,
My bad.
step 5.
Jesus.
Ready? We're going to factor now. Remember the shortcut I shared with you. Check this out. Ready? 2. What did I say? If this is a perfect square trinomial, which it is, because we completed the square, right? There's a shortcut. It's always x something squared. What's my something? Minus 4. Right? That was our shortcut we learned earlier. I'm going to go ahead and combine these two numbers as well. 32 take away 9, 23. So, factor. Factor. Are you paying attention?
I'm taking notes.
That's good. So I gave you guys a shortcut for factoring these, right? And the shortcut I told you guys is that it's always x plus something squared. And that something is always half of that middle number, right? Okay, one more step. This is step 6. I promised you guys 6 steps. You ready? Step 6. Move the 23 back over. Move the 23. So check this. How would I move the 23 back over here? This is vertex form, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's my quadratic. There's my vertex. There's my a value that tells me which way it goes. So I changed it from standard form to vertex form. It's a 6-step process, very long, but all of it is adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing.
Did I?
So we're done. The last step, we just move the 23 over. Okay, so of course it's your guys' turn. That's our answer. Yes.
Oh.
So of course it's your guys' turn to practice. See 2 hands. We go to John first. Okay, Mike. This is our last problem we're going to work on, but of course I want you guys to practice one. But yeah, that's it. This is definitely it. This is definitely more than enough for one day. These are very lengthy problems. So go ahead and write down just the problem here and call it guided practice. Go ahead and write down just the problem. Probably not. I would go to the back. Yeah. Not good. I don't know. 5 better. That probably would be enough. I'm not sure. Don't take my word for it. But that would be my guess. That's probably good enough. I'm rooting for you, my dear. Okay, here we go. I want you guys to do the first step. You have all the steps written out, and you wrote the words like Mr. Bailey told you to. So look at the example we just did, and you guys do the first step to this one. I'm going to give you guys about, I don't know, 30 seconds. What time is it now? It's 2:30. Well, 2:30. Kendall Coy, did you finish step 1 yet? What did you get? Just tell me what you write.
You write -3x squared plus 12x equals y minus 5.
Close.
Oh, it's plus 5. Sorry.
Plus 5. So the step 1 was to add the 5 to both sides. Do step 2. But I want to warn you guys about step 2. You ready? We're taking out a -3, right? And we're going to be dividing by a -3. So keep that in mind.
Wait.
Go ahead. I'll give you guys like about 30 seconds for step 2. Let's see. So you're dividing both of these by -3. So I agree with your first one. But what's 12 divided by 3? Because you're dividing by negative.
Is that still x?
Yeah, the x is still there. Leslie, did you get it? No? Annie, did you get it? Paris, how did you do? You're working on it right now?
Wait,
Let me try one more person. Not right now. Micah. Or Michael, I'm sorry. Michael. The other one. What did you get?
Oh.
Very good. So we divide both of these numbers by the number in front, and you're left with x squared here and -4 here. Now you guys are ready for step 3. Look at your example. See if you guys can get step 3. Close. +4. The reason it's plus is because when you square it, remember how you take half of this number and then you square it? When you square it, it becomes positive. It'll always become positive. So +4. Okay, go ahead and do step 5. Fix the balance. Fix the balance.
That part doesn't.
It'll be there for you. Bye, everybody.